Low profile keyboards are thinner, easier on your wrists, and much more portable than a traditional mechanical keyboard. The problem is a lot of them end up feeling like slightly upgraded laptop keyboards. The XVX L75 Air is trying to give you the best of both worlds. You get an aluminum body, mechanical switches, a gasket mounted design, wireless connectivity, VIA support, and some of the most detailed shine-through keycaps I've ever seen. I've been using it for editing and gaming to see whether it still delivers a proper mechanical keyboard experience or whether going this thin requires too many compromises. Opening the box, you get the L75 Air itself, a USB-A to USB-C cable, the 2.4 GHz wireless receiver, a keycap and switch puller. Pretty standard unboxing experience, got everything we need, good first impression. Picking it up, it's thin and it feels really lightweight. The case is made from CNC machined aluminum, but the entire keyboard only weighs around 620 grams. It feels more solid and premium than a typical plastic low profile keyboard without being so heavy that you wouldn't want to move it around. I think the 75% layout makes a lot of sense for a keyboard like this. You get to keep your function row, arrow keys, and essential navigation keys while still leaving plenty of space for your mouse. Because it sits so low, you can use it comfortably without a wrist rest. I've been using it to answer messages, write scripts, edit videos, and game without having to angle my wrists upward as much as I would with a normal mechanical keyboard. That being said, the typing angle is fixed, so I found it comfortable, but there are no adjustable feet if you prefer a steeper angle. Before getting into how it feels to use, we need to talk about what immediately makes this keyboard look different. These IMD keycaps. These are definitely the most distinctive part of the keyboard. XVX uses a process called IMD, or in-mold decoration. Instead of printing the design onto the outside of the keycap, a decorative film is fused into the plastic during the molding process. That allows for the creation of detailed patterns like these while placing the artwork beneath a protective outer layer. The advantage to this is that the pattern shouldn't fade or scratch away as easily from finger oils and everyday use. IMD also allows translucent sections to be incorporated into complex designs, giving the RGB more than a simple legend to shine through. The L75 Air has south-facing per-key RGB, additional illuminated accents, and multiple LEDs beneath some of the larger keys. The spacebar, I think, has 5 LEDs to help keep that lighting even. The result is, to me, the best implementation of lighting and keycaps and just overall presentation with lighting in general on a keyboard that I've seen so far. Basically, the entire keycaps are shine through. It just looks really good. I've never seen something like this before. Underneath the keycaps are Jersey Air low profile linear switches. They use a light 40-gram operating force with 1.2 millimeters of pre-travel. They activate quickly and don't require much effort. For everyday typing, they feel light. I did need a little time to adjust to that shorter travel, and those light springs make the typing feel effortless, but I did experience occasional accidental presses when resting my fingers on the keys, and surprisingly knocked into some of the other keys once in a while too, which was surprising because I don't do that a lot with regular profile keyboards, so I would expect less of that to happen here, but maybe it's just because I'm not used to the form factor, I don't know. Internally, it's got a gasket mounted design, a flex cut polycarbonate plate, and several layers of sound dampening. You can see some flex on the board if you press down firmly, but during regular typing, the feel is still firm enough. There isn't enough room inside a board this thin to create the same cushioned feeling as a large custom keyboard. Here's a quick test so you can hear what it sounds like. Overall, I would say the sound is very average. I don't know. It doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound bad. I did find that you can operate it pretty quietly if you softly bottom out the keys. So that's a plus, I guess. But in terms of sound, I'll just call it average, which I guess is better than average for low profile keyboards. But in terms of keyboards in general, it's average, if that makes sense. I don't know exactly what it is, but it feels a little mushy typing on this thing. Maybe it's because the keys rebound a little slowly or something, but something about it feels a little muddy or mushy. That's the best way I can describe it. In terms of gaming, it was completely adequate. The short travel makes movement inputs feel really responsive. The L75 Air has a 1000 Hz polling rate in both wired and 2.4 gigahertz modes. Whether wired or wireless, I didn't notice any delay or instability. So I think the L75 Air is better suited to someone who writes or works during the day, maybe travels a lot and needs that portability, and wants to game on the same keyboard afterward. It has a 3700 milliamp hour battery with up to 300 hours advertised. Your actual battery life will depend heavily on how bright you run your RGB and which patterns you're running and things like that. So I think that 300 hours is with RGB off. If you run the lights on, and you probably will on this keyboard, I think that's the whole point of this keyboard, that battery life will change. VIA support allows you to remap keys, create macros, and configure layers through a web browser. The PCB is hot swappable, but those jersey switches use a relatively uncommon footprint, and that makes replacing a damaged switch easy, but your options for trying completely different switches are kind of limited. At around $80 to $90, the L75 Air makes the most sense for someone who specifically wants a portable, low-profile keyboard for both work and gaming. Because portability is one of the best things about this keyboard, I wish there was a way to store the wireless dongle on the keyboard itself, but that's probably my only nitpick with this board. I think the best things about it are the slim aluminum body. Those IMD keycaps look genuinely different from most keyboards in this price range. It's a really good looking portable, versatile all-around board, and it's definitely worth checking out. Alright guys, that's all I've got for this one. I hope it was helpful and informative. If this video helped you make a purchase decision, please consider using the affiliate link down below. It does help support the channel and helps me to continue making reviews like this for you guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.